Instead it's out front. Ellis' shot. Saved by Bäckströn while laying on his side.
That was ridiculous how he got that glove up in the air and made the save.
It's proud. You're proud to have the national team jersey on and know you're representing your country. Somehow I always wanted to be a goalie. Played outside on the street or in your backyard or in school. I was always in the net. As a goalie, the mental part is huge. So you mentally have to feel good. If my son would like to play soccer or hockey, I don't think I'd like him to be a goalie, to be honest. If not the lowest point in my career, belongs close, and if this is how it feels to get to your lowest point, so what? I learned that the biggest thing that matters is that every day you work as well and as hard as you can, and the result will for sure be there.
It was 1999 when I first met Niklas Bäckströn in Forssa, Finland, when I was playing ice hockey myself. Niklas came there to step up his game, and he was a great goalie already back then, and he has been awesome ever since. Niklas played 10 years in the National Hockey League. He has played for Finland in the national team for many occasions, and he still keeps playing. He's a 39-year-old goalie, and he plays in the first league in IFK in Finland. Niklas is explaining us the little details and what it demands to be a top goalie in the whole world. In this conversation you will understand that hard work really pays off. I also recommend you to go and check out the inside action part, what I made a couple of weeks ago. Check it out at my YouTube channel. I put on a camera on a goalie mask and explaining the situation while I'm playing. So you will see the situation behind the goalie mask yourself. Also, there's another thing. surferoflife.com website is on. Go there, log in, and you will get free 4-step morning routines that really have helped me out a lot to kickstart the morning. I was so grumpy and tired in the mornings, but these routines I learned from the big masters, the great masters, have helped me out a lot to kickstart my mornings. So go on, check it out, and after that, enjoy the conversation with Niklas. I am Tommy, and this is Surfer of Life. Today's guest is Niklas Bäckströn, one of the top goalies in Finland in ice hockey. You have won the Junior World Championships, won the Finnish National League twice, got 2 World Championships medals, 2 Olympic medals, been rewarded as the best player and a goalie in Finland a couple of times, been rewarded with William M. Jennings Trophy and Roger Grosser Saving Grace Award in NHL, have played in NHL for 10 years, and you still keep on going. Niklas, welcome to Surfer of Life.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What about, I've heard that you have a special recipe for the spare ribs. What is that secret?
I don't know. I told you that, but I don't know if it's even a secret. It's a tough question actually, but no, it's just a lot of patience and a good dry rub. That's the only thing. Usually I forget them in the barbecue for a while, so they're usually pretty tender when they're ready. But it's, I don't know if that's a special recipe, but that's making those, it comes back to great summer nights and enjoying the Finnish summer, and usually you make them with friends, so that's why I'm laughing. Spare ribs usually comes you remember some good times.
Sounds very good. Sounds very good. All right, we're here today to talk about the ice hockey and especially you as a goalie, and you have a long history and career. And I'm gonna get back into that. But we all have a start. And how did you become a goalie?
I think for me, it's probably my family history. My grandfather was a goalie. My dad was a goalie until junior A. My grandfather played in the Finnish elite league, but I never seen them playing. But we've been going to hockey games as far back as I can remember, even probably from 3-4 years old. And somehow I always wanted to be a goalie. Played outside on the street or in your backyard or in school. I was always in the net and. I started for HIFK. They have a hockey school or skating school called Kalle Brander Luistelukoulu, and first year you just learn the basics to skate, pass, and pretty basic stuff. There's no goalies. And then since day one, when we create a team and start with the goalies, we had 2 set of equipment, goalie equipment. It was supposed to rotate in the locker room. I grabbed one set first day, and I never rotated it. I just kept it for me, so that's how it started. And I don't know if it's 1 or 2 reasons, but it probably all is. And somehow I always idolized the goalies, and that's why I wanted to be a goalie.
Probably the color of the gear was brown.
Yeah, it was really brown and actually really heavy too when it got wet. And you know the story. It's nowadays junior goalies or goalies, they don't know what we had to do back then, but it was brown, and but still then even it looked great, I think.
You have really long history as a goalie, so we won't talk about the junior years that much because you have a big history as being a professional already. But what do you think, what was the point that you realized that you could actually be a professional player?
I think it's hard to say one or 2 points when you realize I think it's been like a dream for me all the time to want to play in the Finnish elite league. At some point you feel you want to play for the national team and then maybe NHL, but I think 15, 16 years old we started, you have the first national team get together, and I was one of the 4 goalies there. Then I was off the national team for a couple of years, but got back to under 20 years for the World Juniors, and that's when you start to think that maybe this could be something. But it's still, for me, it's been fun. It's been being part of a team, being I don't know if I seen it as a job. Even now, it's not a job. It's still my hobby that I'm fortunate to play every day and just play a game. But somehow along the way, it probably improved to be that this could be something. But I think I realized first when I went to Oulun Kärpät, I was probably 20, 24, 25. Start to improve, get better. I think like maybe this could be something, but like I said, it's not 1 or 2 points. I think along the way it got somehow that maybe I could be a professional hockey player for a little bit longer time.
There were some steps before that, though, in Kärpät, and you actually won the Finnish World Championships before that. Can you still, it's far back, it's 98, can you still remember that moment when you won the championships?
Yeah, it's still for our team back then I don't think any had really high expectation of us going into the tournament, and going into the tournament, we just went to play hockey, have fun, enjoy playing in front of the home crowd here in Helsinki, and started first game with playing against Canada, probably the biggest favorites in the tournament. We tied in 3-3, and after that, everything, it feels like, just clicked and everything went by itself. And suddenly we're playing Switzerland in the semifinals, going to the finals, playing Russia. And I don't think anyone was even nervous. The game went to overtime, and we just, somehow there was the feeling we just going to get it. And, when Hagman scored a goal, it's pretty unreal. You're a young kid and realize what you've done, because in hockey, World Juniors is probably one of the toughest tournaments to win, because all the best players in your age group is there, and we just did it. But for us, I think it was just I don't know if you say like a Cinderella story or whatever, but one thing led to another, and no one just worried about anything. We were kids having fun, and we played good hockey. And looking back to it, I don't know how we did it, but we just did it. And sometimes in hockey, you can't worry or think too much. You just have to enjoy and take advantage of the moment.
After that, you played already in the first league in Finland in IFK, but then you had a little step, like, well, let's not say downwards, but a little lower leagues. Actually, we met there. I was also playing back in those days, and you came to Forza. And so how do you think about the situation that you have to go to a lower level to kind of like develop yourself? If it's a good or a bad thing? Let's say mentally.
I think that's probably, if not the most important step in my career, that's close to it, because I look back, we just won the World Juniors back here. I got a contract with HIFK in the Finnish Elite League here, played a year, everything went well, and supposed to be the starter next year. And like a lot of times in hockey, things don't go as planned. I came here into the season, my game wasn't good enough. I didn't play as well as I should be playing, and I was still, 20 years back then, so I didn't really have a lot of experience. And then it was just like a snowball effect in the wrong way, just start to roll in the wrong direction. And for me, back then for sure, I'm from Helsinki, so it's a big thing to play for the Elite League, HIFK here. It's a really big club in Finland, not just Helsinki. And then suddenly all your dreams get pretty much stopped. But now when I look back, it was good. I had to pretty much move away from my family, move away, go to a different city where we played on the same team. It's only an hour from Helsinki, but go there and for the first time to actually be a real professional hockey player. You make your own food. Well, we cooked every day together. So, but like you have to do everything by yourself, and you play in a different city without your family and friends from back home. So you focus on hockey, and for me it was a good step mentally. I think it made me stronger. I realized even if things don't go as planned or things doesn't go like you think, there's always a chance. You keep working, you have to build yourself back up. And for me, maybe it was, if not the lowest point in my career, one was close. And if this is how it feels to get to your lowest point, so what? It's just hockey. So I learned a lot about that looking back now. Then it for sure, it was a lot of nights you couldn't sleep. It was tough going away from here, but it was good that it happened.
Do you remember anything? It's way back, like we said, but did you have sort of a methods to deal with your mental part at that point, or was it were you just growing as a player?
I think I was growing as a player, but mentally too. Until then, it's going to the games. I didn't really focus. I just went out there and played, and that's why probably it went a little up and down. And I learned then later. Well, it's still, I'm learning as 39 years old goalie. It's still, you learn to mentally prepare for a game, how to focus, how not to focus on things you can't control or get distracted about certain things. And I think back then, one goal made it too big a difference of the outcome of my game. And now I know it's just part of the game. If I let in a bad goal or have a bad game, there's going to come the next day. And I learned that the biggest thing that matters is that every day you work as well and as hard as you can, and the result will for sure be there.
After that, you continued. You went back to the Finnish First League, and after that, you played also in Sweden. How was Sweden different than Finland?
It's a little bit different culture there, in Finland. Well, for sure it's changing in Finland, but back here we were pretty straightforward. Like the coach really tells how he feels about you. He's not going to hide his emotion about you. If you don't play well, he's going to tell you. And in Sweden it wasn't really like that. It was more that everything had to be nice and everyone has to feel good and look at their tradition there. And it was nice to see completely different hockey tradition and the style of play. They played back then. It wasn't slower the hockey there, but you control the puck more. When Finland was dump and chase, and there you want to play with the puck, keep the puck, and so it was something you learn a lot there too. And one of the biggest lessons is you have to, for me, that I learned that you go to a different country, you have to respect how they have done things and their culture and what they're doing in hockey. For sure, if there's something that you feel that works really good back home, you can try to take it there, but you can't force and change a lot of players and a lot of system. And I think that's not just we players, we didn't do it, but like Jokerit back then, they owned AIK too. So they want to bring a lot of stuff from Finland there, and it doesn't really work that well there. And you have to respect what they've been doing, and that's when you follow as a player. You notice wherever you go, you have to respect and treat them well there. You can't. For sure, there's good things in every country. Maybe bring them in, but you can't change, and you shouldn't change different cultures.
You think this was a good experience later when you went to North America, that you had this experience before?
Yeah, absolutely.
You respect the culture and just.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really big for me going, knowing that in different countries you do different same stuff, but you do it the other way there, and you have to realize I'm living I'm a guest in their country. This is how they do it, and I should do it the same way. I shouldn't come there and try to change everything, even if I do it back home differently. But now I'm their guest, and this is how we do it. And I feel that's a good lesson.
You think this is probably one reason that when people go to a different country, maybe I've seen it myself, maybe if North Americans come to Europe, they maybe don't adapt into the system. You think this is the reason that they don't think themselves as guests? Maybe they just try to bring their own
Yeah,
style.
I think that could be, for sure. I think Finland, we're a small country, so we have to, I don't have to, but we travel a lot and we see different cultures, and maybe North America USA is a big country and they don't travel a lot, so I understand that they think this is the way, and the more you travel, usually you learn that different countries have different cultures, and you're a guest, so it's same if I come and visit you in your house, we go by your house rules. It's your culture, and I shouldn't come there and bring my rules or how I used to do. I should respect how you're doing stuff, and I think that was a big lesson to learn.
After that came your big step as a player. As far as I see, you went to Kärpät and you played 4 years there, and you just developed yourself, and you actually you won the Finnish championships, the National League twice, and you were actually awarded as a best player and a best goalie for a couple of times. So what do you think happened during that time? How did it go that well? How you were just developing your game so much during that period?
I think it's been like small steps, like I had to leave my HIF care here, go to Forssa, that's a couple steps. Then I go to Lappeenranta Saipa, there you take more small steps, Stockholm steps. But then in Oulu, I was fortunate to come there in the right time. That's a club that's been, the whole 90s they've been struggling. They've been in the third highest level in Finland. They're getting up. The city is like with Nokia, the economy was boosting there. They had like a good vibe in the whole city. But in start of 2001, 2002, their season, like it's a team that had a lot of really young, great players. Probably from that team when I was back there, almost 10 players made it to NHL. So there was a lot of young guys. I was still a young 24 then, but we were a team full of players who wanted to improve. We were not happy or satisfied just playing in Finnish league. We wanted to be part of the national team, getting somewhere in Europe, other leagues, or playing NHL. And we actually, we were driving each other to get better. We were pushing each other every day. We worked hard. That's where I actually really learned how much you have to work in hockey to have success, to get better. It's until that I feel like I was a good athlete or a good professional hockey player, but in all of my eyes really opened up that what it takes to compete for the championship and how much time it takes and how much work. But then when you have a team full of young guys or team full with guys who wants to do it. Everyone wanted to improve and get better, so the atmosphere there was really, the culture was really good about winning and getting better. So I don't know if it's that whole thing that I learned steps on the way, and then there somehow everything just clicked.
What do you think as a goalie, because you are in a team, like you said, and the team was pushing each other further and the whole team works together, but as a goalie you are sort of an individual player also in the team sport. How do you think about that? Is the goalie the other person you can talk to, or a goalie coach, about your situation?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's like you said. Well, if my son would like to play soccer or hockey, I don't think I would like him to be a goalie, to be honest. But I don't care, if he wants to be, he can be. But like I said, it's so different. It's like you're an individual in a team, and probably the most important persons on the team for the goalie is the other goalie, because he knows what you're going through. But it's tough too with that, because only one goalie can play at a time. So you're competing against him, but he knows what you're going through, and the goalie coach. And the biggest thing with a goalie to coach, I feel personally, it's for sure he's doing the drills, making sure your technique is right. But I would say the biggest thing is for him to talk to you, so mentally you're sharp, mentally you're ready, and he knows. Usually goalie coaches are guys who played in net or follow goalies for a long time, so they know how we feel, how the game looks behind your mask, and different things, how mentally tough the position is. And that's why I feel like with goalie coach you have to be really good friends, even if it's your coach. Usually you try to take a little distance from your head coach and things like that, because they're your bosses and what they tell. But goalie coach is different. You feel you have to be getting along really well, and you have to trust him, and he has to trust you, and you have to be able to talk about everything. And as a goalie, the mental part is huge. So you mentally have to feel good.
So you think a goalie coach is filling sort of the mental coach's part for a goalie? So
I would say for a big part, I would say that, because I don't mean to say that you have to. I don't necessarily. You don't have to play to know what the goalie thinks, but I think it helps. And every situation, every goalie feels it different, but you know the feeling, and you know the feeling when you play a good game. You know when you let your team down, letting in goals, it's tough on you, because you make a mistake, it's going to be up on the scoreboard. The DM forward or the coaches can make mistakes and nobody notices it, but you do it and everyone sees it. So that's something we always talk about, that you try to have a short memory, so you forget about the bad things, and that's why you need a goalie coach that usually you can just talk about and see how you felt about it, and then he tells how he saw it.
in all, you were a very successful goalie and a successful team also. How did it affect you? Because it's a small town, of course, and we were winning games, and you were a best goalie in the whole league, and for sure you were famous. How was it affecting you that people noticed you all around the city?
Well, I'm a little shy actually when I saw it. Sometimes I don't say I'm trying to avoid it, but it's always a small city, and hockey is by far the biggest sport there, and team was after a long time having success, so all the players were recognized pretty much wherever you went. But you have to give credit to them there too. It's you never felt awkward about it or bad about it, and they treated you really well. Even for me, coming from Helsinki up there north, usually there could be some looking at this guy a little different, but I felt like being home there. So that city really opened their arms to me and took me in there like one of their own players. But I don't know if it's part of the game. You accept it that wherever you go, you have to pretty much know you're a hockey player, a professional hockey player. You have to know what you're doing, and you're representing your team. But they let you be yourself there too, and I don't think anything bad to say about it. But it's just something you learn on the way, that or during your career, that it's part of the game, and you have to understand it too. And without the fans, the game wouldn't be as big as it is. So you really respect and appreciate what they do, and for them back there, like we had a lot of interaction with kids, with schools. So it's nice to see these young fans and see how they grow into the game and how they like hockey and hockey. We're fortunate to have great fans.
Was it giving you more pressure or more self-confidence, or both?
I think both. Pressure for me, I think I put a lot of high expectation on myself, so I think the pressure comes from in. But you see the fans too. You don't want to let them down, but then it's also when things goes well, you don't really need the confidence. It comes from knowing that you're playing well. But bad times, sometimes I felt like you have a bad game. I'm like a little bit afraid to go to the grocery store. What are people going to think? They're looking at me that this guy sucked. What is he doing here? He should be somewhere working and practicing. But actually, I noticed that the real fans, or the fans that really care about you, even when you play bad, that's when you get the nicest words, or people coming in to show how they support you. And back there in Oulu, it was the same thing. I think one of the finals we lost in Turku, one game, like with 5 goals. I didn't have a bad game. I had a bad game, and I was like, I don't know, I have to go grocery shopping because we're playing the next game. But the support you got in the grocery store was unreal, and how they supported and told that they're going to come tomorrow and they know we're going to play a great game. So it took a little bit of the pressure away, but still you have the pressure and drive from inside to pushing you.
Were you beating yourself bad inside when you played a terrible game or let easy goals in, or were you kind of like, did you learn to accept it more year after year after year? Or
I would like to say yeah. I would like to say yes. I would like to say that I can leave hockey at the rink, but it's still good games you can leave, good practice you can leave at the rink. Bad, I haven't still learned. I would like to learn that. I don't think it's not like, probably younger was still I could not lose the whole night's sleep, but I could lay in the bed and think about it for a couple hours. Now it's usually, if you let in a bad goal, you still think about it. Even if you know that you done everything right and it just happened, but it's still, you beat yourself about it. You try to find a way to improve and make sure it doesn't happen again. And the thing I learned is it's going to happen again. You're going to get pulled. They're going to take you out of a game. You're going to have bad games and bad goals, but it still hurts. And I think that's part of why it makes the game pretty great. You're never perfect, and you always have something to learn. And it's the emotions too. I remember, like, you have a bad game and you feel bad about it, and then you get a chance to play the next game and it goes well. It's so fun to, even within 24 hours, you play back-to-back games, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, and the next game is good. It's so fun to see how the weekend is different.
Still a little time on Kärpät in Oulu, and you had Pekka Rinne as your backup, and Pekka actually went before you to North America. Was that a point that you were thinking like, okay, or did you know already that you have a shot in NHL?
I think, if I remember correctly, the same fall that Pekka went over, he got drafted in some. I wasn't drafted, but there was some talk about, I can't remember the team, that I could maybe have a chance, but the transfer window going to North America was already closed. So going into the season, I think, well, maybe this was my chance. Maybe I don't get a chance to go to NHL anymore. And I was happy for Pekka, for him to get a chance to go there, and it was nice to see him. And for sure, it was disappointing for me to not get the chance that season. But then I really had a good time in Oulu. I really liked the city and the team. Everyone treated me really well, and we had one of the top teams in Europe back then with a lot of great players. So I knew I'm in a really good position to just be here too. But still, when you get a little taste, there's a chance. You try to push a little bit extra, and I was fortunate to actually get a chance then next summer.
Let's talk a little bit the national team, because you were in the junior national teams, but you also made it to the national teams for juniors and seniors and played in the World Championships and played also in the Olympic Games. Was it different? You told me that as a junior it's probably the most difficult tournament to play because all the same age best players are there. How different was it to put on the jersey, on the Finnish jersey as an adult?
For sure, I think as a kid, everyone's kid, you don't really think about anything. You just go, you don't worry about anything. And then in Finland, World Championship, that's the biggest thing here in the spring. Everything stops and people are following Team Finland. And, it's not the same game you play in Oulu or Helsinki or Saipa, wherever you play, or normal game, the whole country is going to watch you for sure. You realize how important it is. But then the thing with the Finnish hockey national team, well, I haven't played in the other national teams in Finland, but just the hockey, the atmosphere and the guys, it's always really great. It's a great locker room to be part of, even if everyone during the whole year you compete against each other, but then for the last month you play together. So it's always really good atmosphere, and we know that we are not always the most skilled team, but we want to be the hardest working team with good atmosphere. So it's fun to be with the guys, but it's proud. You're proud to have the national team jersey on and know you're representing your country, and that's something. Well, first time I moved to Sweden, to Stockholm, you realize how proud Finns should be about their country. We're pretty shy. We don't want to say that how great our country is, but the more you travel, the more you see. I don't want to say that Sweden is a bad place to live, but you realize how good we have it back home too. So, but going to represent your country somewhere, it's fun, but it's proud and a lot of pressure on you too.
What about when you have the national team's jersey on or a team jersey and you switch on the game mode? Does it actually matter what kind of jersey you have on when you are in the game?
I don't think in the game. In the game, you're so focused on the game. I feel like you just worry about stopping the next puck, want to play as well as you can to give the team a chance to win. And looking back, for sure, you remember your first league game or national team game, Olympic game or NHL game. You remember it first, but in the game, you try to enjoy the atmosphere, but it's more when you have a good game, you're just focused about the next thing. You can't really close out everything else. But for sure, you take an Olympic tournament, for example, you're living in the village with all the other athletes. So when you're outside the rink not playing, you realize how different it is and how special it is.
So Olympic atmosphere is something really special, I guess.
It's a difference. It's completely different. Like we live in those big buildings with Team Finland, and we got skiers, ski jumpers, everyone. Like my first Olympic 2006 in Turin, curling team had a great tournament, and they're living in the same building, and everyone's cheering them and high-fiving them when they get to the hotel. So it's not about just being a hockey team; it's the whole Team Finland. So it's special, and then you walk there to the cafeteria. That's a huge building with different food, and you see all the athletes from other countries, and I see him on TV. So it's pretty special.
How about playing in the Olympics or World Championships? Of course, you play for the national team and for the whole Finland, for the team. But if you don't have a shot to be in the net in the most important games, how does that feel?
It's still you want to play. That drives you. But as a goalie, you learn only one play, and you try to do whatever you can to help. Here's a year and a half ago, I was part of the Finnish national team in Russia, the World Championship. We made it to the finals. Just too bad we lost to Canada, but I didn't play a single game. I was the third goalie, but you try to find a way to feel important or being part of the game to help the guys. But it's also especially on the national team, it's always pretty short. It's 2-3 weeks, so everyone is trying to make everyone feel good there, and that's a big thing too. You got the guys who plays a lot, they feel good, they play a lot, but then you have to realize it's team, so everyone has to feel good in the team for the team to do well, and that's something that I feel the Finnish national team has always been good about, really respecting all the players, even if they're guys who's not playing, so everyone wants to be part of the team. But you try to find a way to help the guys.
How you feel when you're sitting on the bench and there's this most important game, maybe it's a final or maybe it's a bronze medal game or whatever, and it's more exciting to be on the bench, is it, or on the ice?
Yeah, you're more nervous on the bench for sure. On the ice, somehow it feels you're in control of it, or it just takes over. You just focus on what you're doing. But on the bench, you don't know what really happened. You're just watching, and you're nervous. And well, this is back to the World Championship in Russia. We're sitting. Lasse Kukkonen got hurt, and both we're sitting the semi-final and the final up in the stands, and both are nervous. Like we can't even watch a game. It's weird how it goes there, and then you go in the net, and you don't. When the puck drops, after that you're not nervous. Before the game, when you play, you can be nervous, but somehow I don't know your instincts of what takes over when the puck drops, and you don't really think about anything else than just the game. But on the bench, it's not fun.
Okay, now it's been national team. Let's go to NHL. So you had a shot. First, you thought about it, and then you actually made it to NHL. And the first season was already great. It was awesome. You got 2 awards. You let less goals in than any other goalies in the whole league. You had the best saving percentage. How did you feel? Can you still remember that?
Yeah, for sure. I remember the season. It's going to the season. I was like on a 2-way contract. So if I make the NHL, I got the bigger contract, but they can send me down to the minors, to the American Hockey League, and then my salary drops really much. And they give these contracts for guys who they're probably going to send down to the minors, to the American League. So I was going there with the attitude that if they do it, I'm going to make it hard for them to do it, and I'm going to use every day to make sure that I work as hard, give myself the best chance to be on the team. So I actually had a great summer back here, getting ready, coming into the training camp, and my training camp went well. I only got to play 1.5 game, but we played well, and I played well, and then got the good news that I start up. Usually it's either they just send you a text or call you that your flight is down to American League, but I never got that. And then the whole year, the first until Christmas, I didn't play a lot of games, but I was working every day, making sure that they know that I want to be here. And I think training camp starts around mid-September. My first day off was Christmas Eve. I don't know if they tested me or what it was, but always when they asked, I was there on the ice, making sure that no reason for them to send me down. And then after Christmas, I started Manny Fernandez, who was the other goalie there, he got hurt, and I started to play, and the team played well, and we started to win games and climbing in the standings and making the playoffs. So everything, when I got a chance to play, everything started to click and go well.
You think things mentioned about working all the time, working hard. You think that when you work hard and you know you're kind of like the ground level as a player is very good, it gives you more self-confidence in the games?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Sure, you make a nice save, you feel good about it. But I think for me personally, I feel confident when I know I've done everything as well I can. If I practice hard, even if I haven't played in a long time, or I played bad lately, but I practice good and work hard, that's what builds my confidence. And that's where I get the feeling that I'm ready. And then on the other hand too, for some reason you're not able to practice as well, or you don't do it, then you're confident. I feel my confidence level drops a little bit, but that's where I build my confidence pretty much in the practice. and then for sure in the games, when you get good games, it helps. But just to get that basic confidence, I feel it comes from my practice.
After that season, you signed a huge contract also. How did it feel to make a big contract that you kind of know that you are financially okay after that? Did it change you as a player at all? Were you just hungry for more to be the best goalie in NHL after that?
I don't think it changed me. I think it's the drive there to be the best as always, even if it's pretty tough to be the best, but that's what you something like want to be. And even for me, back then, my agent and the GM of the team, they said, well, you signed a big contract and it feels like we're more happy for you than you are. And I said, like, well, I think I just told them I'm more worried about that. I won't have to live up to your expectation and contracts. I want to just focus on my work. But that's I think how it felt for sure. Biggest thing for me was to first of all stay in Minnesota. That I really liked and gave me a chance to be in. But to get a couple of years there too, for sure, like you say, finance is big and it's going to help in the future. But to get a chance to stay in the NHL and play there, I think for me, I got into the league when I was 28, so it took a long time to get there. So I just wanted to be sure that I can stay there for as long as I can. So I was more happy about the length of the contract, probably.
Yeah. You like Minnesota, I expect, because you actually, I'm not sure if I'm right, but I think you had a chance to maybe sign later on as your career in NHL, you had a chance to sign a bigger contract somewhere else, but you wanted to stay in Minnesota. And as you said earlier, that Oulu was a really nice place to stay. You think the environment is very important? That you really enjoy the town and the place you stay. It makes you a better player.
Yeah, I think it's the whole environment is really important. For sure, the locker room, the rink, the team, it's big. But I've seen it with my own eyes. Someone going somewhere chasing something more, and it hasn't really worked out. And for me, biggest thing was to be happy and being happy and maybe respected is the word too. But like both Oulu, Minnesota treated me really well. The team, the cities. It's that's a big part, because if you're not happy, I don't think you can play good. It's a big part of your hockey. You take a game, it's 3 hours. You practice in the morning. That's hour, but there's a lot of hours in the day. And if you're unhappy, it's going to for sure affect you, and all that negativity, it's going to make you tired. It's going to take you down. So where you feel happy and where you feel home, I think that's a big part. And like you said, there could have been chances to go somewhere else, and you never know. It could have worked out, but it could also happen that it doesn't work out. So I was really happy to be able and fortunate to stay for almost 10 years in the same team. And looking around, it's pretty tough nowadays to be for that long time. Salary cap and business makes it hard, but for me, it was something I really appreciate and feel proud of, that I've been able to say Minnesota is my home, and that I was able to be there for a long time.
I'm really interested of course, NHL and all the other teams too, but how is NHL different than the other leagues? What is the biggest difference in NHL if you compare it to Finnish National League or Swedish National League where you play?
I think there's best players are there, best coaches, you got rinks. But I think probably the biggest you compare to it's business in North America. These leagues, NBA, NHL, NFL, baseball, they're business, and you probably learn it when you get there. That you're looking from here, and how I felt about NHL, or what I was thinking about NHL before I got there is different. I understand it's business now, and a lot of things that you don't, sometimes you feel doesn't make sense, but then you look at the business side and you understand it's for a lot of people to make money there, and it's business. It's still sports, don't get me wrong, but players there, you're part of the business, and that's why there's a lot of trades. That's why players move from one city to another, and I learned to it, and I'm fine with it. And it's easier when you understand that it's a business.
What do you think about traveling? You were traveling a lot around the continent, North America, both Canada and USA. Is it heavy?
It's hard to say. I don't think I ever had an issue. For me, it was, for sure you get used to the cities, but I remember the first year I was just excited to get to a new city that you've never seen before, and then, oh, this one, and then you go to the next one. And it's still in my last year, I felt excited waiting about cities. It's nice to get to a different city and see something new, but for sure it's tough. You fly a lot. You get into the hotels 3-4 in the morning, get up, practice. You have your lunch, nap, play, game. Sometimes you don't see. The only thing you see about the city is your hotel and the rink. But for sure, sometimes you have a couple days in a city, and it's nice to go there. And in Minnesota, we have really cold winters there, so you waited for the Florida and California trips and Phoenix. So that's a good thing. But I think I enjoyed it, and it was nice to see different cities, different people, and in NHL, the travel is made so easy. You got your charter plane, so you bus up to next to the plane, you jump on the plane, and you don't have to worry about your equipment. The trainers, they're packing your stuff, carrying them to plane, carry off the plane. We go straight to the hotel, the trainers go to the rink, unpack the stuff, and you go to the hotel and everything's ready for you. So it's made really easy, and but it takes a lot of time, and it's part of the league with 82 games, so that's why it makes it physically even tougher.
Did it change your mind at all when you got your first child for the traveling part? That you had to be away from home a lot, or were you coping with it well?
Well, for sure, in the beginning, you want to be a part all the time and try to help, but then it's a lot of how would I say, nights with not good sleep back home. So sometimes getting on the road, sleeping in the hotel by yourself, it's pretty nice to get your 8, 9, 10 hours. But no, for sure, it changes. It's something you look forward to get back to see your child, and you miss them, and you go on the road for 12 days. It's pretty long to be separated from your child, but that's what makes probably the toughest part about the travel. It's being away from your family. Everything else is taken very good care of, and nowadays it's easier with FaceTime, Skype, or whatever, so you can see what's going on back home and see your kid. But then in the summer, we're fortunate to be able to practice by ourselves, so that's when you try to take back the time with your family.
Let's concentrate a little bit on your game. And we spoke earlier already about how difficult it is, maybe occasionally when you let an easy goal in and things like this. What about before the games? What is your way to prepare yourself for the game? You have certain methods or something to do?
Yeah, it's something that I don't think it's like superstitions. It's more like a routine that you worked on during your career, that you learn that this works. This is something I shouldn't do, and this is something I should do. And for sure, it's physically like the day before. You usually start to make sure your body is ready next day. You got good food and rest and good sleep. But then game days, we have a morning skate, and that's usually game day morning. You start to think about your game. I don't really think that much about the opponent, the other team, how they're playing, because a lot of things could change, and I don't want to go into the game and thinking, well, this guy, he always shoots high glove, and I'm ready there with my glove, and he goes low blocker, and I look like a fool. So it's more about if there's some tendencies that the other team does, you think about that, and the more you play, the more you start to know. Like in NHL, there's a lot of teams, they have their own style of hockey they play and do a lot. Like we played against Colorado a lot, and they like to generate offense from behind the net, so they're going to be behind my net. So I really think about that, what they're trying to do. But the whole day, it's more about you go morning skate, get ready, get good feeling, and I like to. All my practice actually, I like to do it as I would play. So when I go on the ice in the game, I don't have to think anything. I would just do it the same way I do in the practice. And sometimes it works like that. Sometimes you start overthinking the game and try too much and do things you shouldn't do. So for me, it's more about mentally preparing, understanding that I should just do what I've been working on, not try too much, not try to be perfect all the time, because it doesn't work. I have to just do my best. And even for me nowadays, it's still a lot of work you do to shut out everything else than just your own game, because as a goalie, there's so many things you can't control. You can't control how your Ds are playing forwards, the other team, how the referee is. You go on the road, the other team's fans, they're going to for sure sing about you or yell at you. So you try to make sure you can close all these things out and just focus on the puck and understand that you have to take it, even 60 minutes, you have to take it just one step at a time.
You think this, again, we come to the working part, and you said, like, in the practice, you always try to think as it's a game, because you've been really solid goalie. Almost every season, your saving percentage is very high, so it demands a lot of concentration. You think this is one key point for your success as being so solid goalie, that you always work so hard also in the practice and think about it, it's a game situation?
I think it could be, yeah, for sure a part. I feel like in practice I have to do the right habits, get the good habits, and that makes it easier for me in the game. I don't want to go in the game and then try to do something I haven't done before, because if I do it every day in practice, the game should be a lot easier too, because I just go and play. And usually practice is tougher. You see a couple hundred shots, and in a game it's probably around 20-30 shots. So if I can focus on every shot in the practice, it should be a lot easier in the game. And I think that's a big preparation for the game, like mentally too, not just physically to get tired, but mentally, so you know that you can focus on every shot. And you have to learn too, like, the game is 60 minutes, it's pretty tough to be like really focused all the time. You have to know when you can relax too and take a breath and then be ready again.
What is the situation when you are relaxed? Can you then kind of notice the crowd and let yourself go a little bit and then get back in the game, or how does it go with you?
Yeah, I think when you're on, like when you're really ready and focused for the game, I feel that's how it is. You could see who's in the crowd or see people, and then when it happens again, you're ready. But then sometimes, for some reason, I don't know even yet, I hope I figure it out some days, when you're not really on and your focus is so, it could be still you're thinking about, and you do the same thing, but then the other team is coming down and getting ready to shoot on you, and you realize, oh, my thoughts are somewhere else. I don't know why it happens, but sometimes, like, it's a big difference. On a good day, you're spot on, and then on a not so good day, your thoughts are wandering somewhere else.
What about after a goal? What kind of routines you do? How do you get back in the game? You said earlier already that you have to kind of forget about the things very fast on ice.
Yeah, and a goal, when I think, I don't know if you can say that you're really, angry. You're really angry every goal. It doesn't matter how it goes in. But then with the scoreboard now, with the video screen everywhere, so I always try to take a look. What happened? What did I do? Is there something I can do differently? Did I do everything all right and it just happened? And then if it's something I could do differently, I try to, okay, maybe I should have done this. And still, after a game, I think more about it. But if there's something I could not have done, or I did everything right, and it just went in, I try to just leave it behind. But that's something, it's not easy. That's something you still battle, but that's something that I feel for sure it affects my game. If I let in a goal and 5 minutes later I'm still thinking about it, I should just try to leave it behind me and move on. But for some reason, it doesn't happen all the time.
What about, you have a lot of games in NHL? You have a lot of games in NHL. You played also a lot of games, so there are, like I said, back-to-back games. And is there time to really enjoy the game? Can you enjoy during the season that you really realize that, okay, I am in the best league in the world, I'm doing good here, or how does it go?
I would like to say, for sure, in a certain way you enjoy it. But for me, I don't know, maybe it's because what happened back here. First I was with HFK, everything went well, and next year I didn't play that well, and I'm gone to Forza. So I feel like since then, I feel like I've been, I don't want to say scared, but maybe scared is the reason, the right word, but somehow I've been feeling like I want to enjoy too much. I want to get too high because you know what, tomorrow something else could happen and someone takes it away from me. So it has been more for me to just push it, and that's something that actually a lot of coaches in NHL wanted to work with me, trying to tell me that enjoy this, have fun, and you don't have to be that serious every day, and you don't have to, you played a great game or you got this award, enjoy it. And for me it was like, you know what, I'm worried about tomorrow. So, but that's a big, what I learned, a big difference in the culture. You take the North American players, they enjoy every moment, they learn from that. We take our Finnish guys, feels like me, they're too more worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. That's what I notice a big difference, and it's still I learned more to enjoy it, but it's more about getting ready. You know, played a great game. You know, next one has to be better, pushing ourselves too.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Finnish way of thinking, it is different than in North America.
That's what I feel like. Well, I played with Mikko Koivu. He's the same way. Sure, he's trying to enjoy, and then you take a normal Canadian guy, and he's way different. It's I think it's a Finnish culture somehow. Like we want to just worry about tomorrow.
It hasn't been always that easy for you because you also have some injuries in your background. How difficult is that situation when you get hurt? Your game is good and then your maybe knee is busted or whatever, and then you're out.
It's tough. It's in many ways it's tough. First, you feel you let your team and teammates down because you're not going to be able to be there, and then just to get back, even if, for example, you say your knee, like you said, the doctor said you're 4 weeks out. Well, 4 weeks means you're going to do rehab 4 weeks. You can't practice normal. You start to play after 4 weeks, but you haven't been able to practice being in the goal for 4 weeks, so you have to get back to game shape. So in 4 weeks, it's probably when you're ready to play is 8 weeks. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of work, and then the older you get, the more injuries you have. Like I still remember once younger, before the practice or game, I didn't really need to warm up that much. Now it's completely different. Just to be able to survive a practice, you need to warm up for an hour to make sure nothing happens. And all these things, they take more time from you, and for sure it's never good for your body when things happen. But I've been looking at the way to, I've been able to play a great game, see a lot of things. So you have to pay a price too. Maybe this is the price for me to pay to have injuries, and it's part of the game. It hurts. It's not fun, but it's part of the game, and I think it's a mental challenge to battle back from the injuries, not just physically, but to mentally get ready.
You had a really long career in NHL. We spoke about it already. What do you think now if you'd have a chance to switch? You would have one great season in NHL and you would have won the cup in NHL. And if you compared to the situation that you played 10 years in the best league, what would you choose?
I think I would go with the cup. I would think that's what you dream about, to win it, and that's something. Being there and seeing how hard it is, how tough it is, it would probably change it for one season and be able to win the cup.
You were now, I heard you were actually voted to be the fourth best player in the whole Minnesota. Congratulations for that. How does it make you feel that they actually really remember you good?
I didn't even know that, but thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's maybe something feel pretty proud about because I never got drafted or wasn't really nobody probably expected me to be there for 10 years when they signed me, and it turned out to be 10 fun years and 10 great years, but it's still for me really great that they gave me the chance to come to NHL and to be able to live in a great city there. But it's always fun to when they appreciate your job and the things you've been doing there. So it's nice to hear that.
So far, the last game in the NHL has been actually wearing a different jersey. It was Calgary Flames, and you actually played your last game so far in Minnesota. So there was your ex-home crowd, and you were awarded as the first star in the game, and you played an awesome game, and you won the game. How did you feel? Was it emotional?
It was pretty emotional. I knew it's good chance it's my last game in NHL, and to be able to play it in Minnesota and against Minnesota and actually having a really good game, and I had my parents, my family in the stands, and it was big for them too. But to see the Minnesota crowd, how they supported me even if I was on the other team, it was a special night. It's something you're always going to remember, and for sure pretty emotional after the game with the interviews. But it was one of those days since morning I had a feeling it's going to be a good game. As you know, you just felt that today there's a really good chance you're going to play great, and I don't know why and how, but that's how I felt. And actually that's one of the games I had a chance to pretty much enjoy the whole game and just enjoy every minute.
You think, is it different in North America if you've been playing in one team and you've been their favorite guy, and then you step on a different team and you play against your old team? And I'm not sure, but I kind of have a feeling that when we see Teemu Selanne go to Winnipeg to play there, or the crowd is just, appreciating him, appreciating you that you were their player. Is it different here in Finland? Because occasionally I do hear different stories that if you change a team that people are just hating you.
Yeah, I think maybe both. I think most of the time in NHL they're really good about it. It's in their tradition to respect the player or give a thanks to the player who done something for the past their organization, and you see a lot of tribute videos and crowd standing up. So I think they've been doing it for a long time there, and like I said, it's a business there. I think the fans understand it's a business too for everyone, so they know it's part of the games that the players change teams. It's really rare nowadays for someone to play even 10 years for one organization. I think we're here in Finland a little bit younger about that, and we don't really, as fans, we don't really always understand that it's a business here too, even if it's on a smaller scale nowadays. But players, sometimes it's up to the player to change a team. Sometimes the players don't really give a chance. He has to change the team. So I think we're getting there here in Finland. I hope it will be more here like it's in North America, that even if a player you cheer for and going to play for a different team, you would still respect the player and give him support and thank him. But I think we're getting there. It takes time, but like I said, there's still maybe a little difference.
How is it here now in Finland? You are back in Finland in the Finnish First League, and now you don't play in Oulu. And now when you go to Oulu, because I remember when I was a junior, I played in Oulu as a goalie, and they were just giving you shit, a lot of it. How is it with you? Because you've been their best player earlier.
Actually, I haven't yet played a game in Oulu, but now when we've been there with the team, I have to give it to Oulu people. They've been still supporting and thanking me for the past. And there's last year, first game went there with Juha-Matti Aaltonen, played for HFK too. He's from Oulu, played there for a long time, and they have one of those tribute videos up on the scoreboard. So they have done, actually, I understand too, like they want Oulu to win and they're going to be tough on the goal, but so far they've been really supporting me, and I think that's just showing how great they are, and that they still can respect what you've done and still support you. And for sure I expect them, and if I get a chance to play there, I expect the crowd to be tough on me, and that's how it should go. But so far it hasn't happened. And the people have supported me, so maybe hoping that it would stay that way. But you like you said, it's a tough crowd, eh?
What has been the toughest thing that the away crowd has done to you?
Probably a lot of things, but a lot of, when they yell at you after your bad game in NHL, like it's here in Finland, you got the fan crowd, maybe they yell a couple thousand, but in NHL you go somewhere to a rink, there's 17, 18, 19,000 people that yells Bäckström sucks, the whole crowd at the same time. So it's part of the game. It's not fun, and you understand that too, but that's about supporting your team, and that's how it should go. But I don't know if you get used to it, but that's too, when you're really in the game, you don't really realize that. You just somehow you're able to turn it out and not even listen. And the guys are then after the game asking, "Did you hear that? And did you hear that?" I'm like, "No." But then when you're not on and you're playing a bad game, you hear those good stuff too. That's when you really hear them.
It's amazing. You're 39 years old and you are still going strong. You're still playing as a goalie. How did it feel to come back to Finland to be part of the team where you started from, IFK?
It was fun, actually, to be for my home family to move home with getting all the grandparents living close and helping with that. But for sure, when I left it or got thrown out or left HFK in '99, I don't know if I ever thought that I would play for them again. And now coming back, it's sort of like closing the circle and getting back where everything started. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of things that happened during that almost 20 years, but it's been fun, and it's still pressure to play for HFK, but that's how it goes, and that's how it should be. And Helsinki, it's a great city to live in, to play hockey, and just to realize that, even if you've been abroad for 10 years, 4 in all, that's 16 years gone from Helsinki, it still feels like home.
You think you're still as passionate player as you were now when you're 39? Because what keeps you in the game?
The love of the game is still probably what it is. You get older, you realize sometimes it's tougher to maybe do all the stuff you need to do outside the ice. Like you said, a lot of injuries. So my warm up, it's not like a normal guy's warm up. It takes a while. So sometimes you're a little bit struggling with that. But then you put the equipment on, even practice or game. You love to go there to compete. You hate to lose, and I know that I could be tough on the guys in the practice even because you just hate to lose. I don't know, it's not with me with different other sports I can take easy. I play soccer with the guys or golf. It's okay if I lose, but hockey somehow it's really emotional to lose. I think that's the thing, but I think it changed too. Younger you had maybe more personal goals about you want to be national team, NHL, or play something else, and now it's just about the team. For sure, back then it was about the team too, but you had on the side you had your personal goals, and now it's about just want the team and the organization to be better and to improve.
I'm so happy that you came here. I feel honored that you came here to talk to me. It's been a blast to hear your story about the whole career so far. It's not over. It still continues. But I have a couple of more questions for you still left. And one is that how you see yourself in 5 years now? You're still going to be at the rink?
I don't know. That's sure. You get older, you get more of these questions, and that's a question you ask yourself. So if I retire now, what I'm going to do? And when you're 20 or 25, you don't really think about it. But it's something that's been creeping in my mind more and more. And I don't know if I have the answer yet. And I don't know if I want to think too much about it. I want to just try to enjoy and focus. If this is the last year, then it is. But try to enjoy every day. But I think I had more a feeling creeping into me that I would like to be part of hockey somehow. I don't know what it is, where it is, but hockey has been really a big part of me and my family's life for a long time. So I would like to still stay in hockey. I don't know if there's any opportunities or if you get a chance, but that will probably be, I don't know what it will be, but somehow be part of hockey. So probably hope to be at the rinks. I'm sure going to watch games, but to be maybe working at the rinks, something different.
Maybe you see your child as a goalie there.
Well, if he wants to be, he could be, but I don't know. I don't think Santa Claus is bringing him any goalie equipment.
Okay. A final question. What makes you laugh?
I try. That's probably, I don't know, everything. I hope I could enjoy more. Like we talked about, this is life. We should enjoy life, have fun. Like I play hockey because I love it. It's fun. I should be enjoying. I go to work because it's part of the life and to enjoy and laugh. I don't know. I should laugh more. I know. I think I'm too serious, but I should enjoy like everyone. I don't know if it's just us Finnish people, but you're always happy. So I have to ask you what it takes to have a big smile. I would like to just laugh every day, have a big smile, but sometimes we take everything too serious. You know, life is fun. It should be fun. You should just laugh.
Yeah, I cope you with that. And maybe if you ask my wife, maybe she has a different opinion about that.
She says you're laughing too much.
No, I don't think so. Hey, thank you so much, Nikke.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thanks.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's fun.